Why do so many men stay stuck for years? Not months, years. Some stay stuck in the same relationships, stuck in the same financial positions, stuck with anxiety, self-doubt. Some stay stuck in cycles of procrastination, distraction, and frustration. And here's the hard truth. Most men are not stuck because they lack intelligence. They're not stuck because they lack potential. They're not even stuck because they lack information. Most men are stuck because they're trying to solve the wrong problem. Today, I'm going to show you why most men stay stuck and the exact three-phase framework I use to help men rebuild their lives from the inside out. Let me paint the picture. A man gets out of a bad relationship. He's hurt, confused, and disappointed. So he says, I'm going to focus on myself. A few months later, he meets another woman. The relationship starts strong. Then the same problems appear, just with a different woman. Same outcome. Now he's frustrated and he starts blaming women. Then he starts blaming himself. And then he starts questioning everything. What happened? The woman changed, the relationship changed, but the man didn't. The same thing happens with anxiety. A man changes jobs, he moves new cities, starts new relationships, gets a new apartment, but the anxiety follows him. Why? Because he changed the environment, he never changed the operating system. The same thing happens with discipline. A man buys a planner, downloads productivity apps, watches motivational videos, he gets excited for a week, then quits. Why? Because he changed the tools, he never changed himself. The biggest breakthrough in my life came when I realized something. The common denominator in every area of my life was me. That wasn't easy to accept at first because it was easier to blame circumstances. It was easier to blame other people. And it was easier to blame the economy, the wind, or my childhood, or who didn't do whatever. But growth begins when clear responsibility begins. When I finally accepted responsibility for my patterns, everything started changing. That's when the real rebuild started. Most men attack the symptoms. They don't address the root causes. They focus on the breakup, the anxiety, the lack of money, the lack of motivation or confidence. But often those are symptoms. The real problem is underneath. The real problem is how they think, how they respond, and how they make decisions, as well as how they handle discomfort, how they lead themselves, and that's why the same problems keep returning in different forms. In my three-phase rebuild system, we start with mental mastery because everything begins in the mind. And before you can change your life, you must learn how to observe your thoughts. Most men are controlled by automatic patterns, overthinking, negative assumptions, worst-case scenarios, and emotional reactions and impulsive decision-making. Mental mastery teaches you how to recognize those patterns. This is where anxiety begins to lose its power. This is where awareness begins. This is where you stop being controlled by your mind and start learning how to direct it. Then we move to phase 2, which is relationship strength. Your relationships reveal patterns. This just isn't about dating. It's about how you interact with everyone. Many men keep choosing the wrong women, tolerate disrespect, become emotionally dependent, and seek validation. And they confuse attraction with compatibility. The result, same heartbreak, same disappointment, and the same lesson repeated over and over again. Relational strength teaches you how to establish standards, how to create boundaries, and how to recognize red flags, how to communicate clearly, and how to stop approval seeking. Because healthy relationships require a healthy man. And then phase 3 is the manhood code. This is where identity changes because eventually every man must answer this question. Who am I becoming? Not what do I want, not what do I feel, but who am I becoming? This phase focuses on discipline, responsibility, leadership, purpose, standards, self-command. Because without identity, growth never lasts. Most men don't need more motivation. They need structure, they need principles, and they need a code to live by. And the manhood code becomes the foundation for transformation. Think about the man who enters into this process. He's anxious, distracted, emotionally reactive, uncertain, and inconsistent. Now picture him 6 months later. He understands his trigger, he controls his reaction, he chooses better relationships, and he has standards, he has structure. And now he trusts himself. He's no longer drifting through life, he's leading life. That's the difference. Not perfection, not progress. And here's something I want you to remember. Your life changes when your patterns change. Your patterns change when your thinking changes. Your thinking changes when your awareness increases. And your awareness increases when you finally stop running from the truth. That's where the rebuild begins. If you're tired of repeating the same cycles, the same mistakes, the same frustrations and disappointments, it's time to stop treating the symptoms and start rebuilding the foundation. I want you to go and visit Self-Transformation 369, learn more about my 3-phase rebuild system and the 90-day program. And until then, remember, all that you have inside of you is all you need. My name is Mr. Smith. Until the next time, peace.